ESPN layoffs in mind, I regret to inform you all that Kian and Scoop have not been laid off and will return next week. But until then, just wanted to touch base. We took the All-Star break off, not because we were All-Stars, but because we had other shit to do. So I won't go into the Pirates series. We gave a couple games away and then got obliterated in prior to the All-Star game. But All-Star game events were entertaining. I'd say the Home Run Derby was back. I think Netflix has some work to do, some of their editing and quick cuts, but a number of guys put on a show, and then Jordan Walker walked off on the hometown Kyle Schwarber, so that was pretty cool to see. And then All-Star game wasn't all that memorable, but the AL won like it has most of my life. And yeah, so since the All-Star break, the Brewers are 5-1 with a sweep over the Marlins and a series win over the Mets. Game 1 against Miami, Logan Henderson went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, and had 4 Ks. In that game, Joey Ortiz, playing third base, of course, had a solo homer. And then Garrett Mitchell walked off with a single after a clean Craig Yoho 10th inning, and the Brewers won 10-1 in 10. 10-1, sorry. 2-1 in 10. Game 2, Shane Drowan went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned, a walk, and 9 Ks. In that game as well, Garrett Mitchell went 3 for 5 with 2 singles, a double, a run, and 2 RBI. And Trevor McGill got the save in an 8-6 win. And then Game 3, Bob Gasser went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, and 5 Ks, followed by clean innings from Chad Patrick, Aaron Ashby, as well as Grant Anderson. And then Wild Bill Contreras walked it off for the Crew in that one for a 3-1 win to close out that sweep of the Marlins. And then Monday, I actually went to the game, saw Miz's first start after the All-Star break. He only threw 65 pitches, but he went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, a walk, and 6 Ks in those 65 pitches. And then Craig Yoho got the win in that game as well because he came in relief for Miz. And after that, McCullers ate up 3 innings, so good to see him debut in the Brewers uniform. And curveball still's got some RPMs to it. Also saw his cutter, I think, on Pitching Ninja's page. It'd be nice if he can be a contributor. Obviously, we acquired him for Jaden Fielder, but basically nothing. So look forward to hopefully seeing him contribute a bit to this team. And then that game started hot in the first, and then there were also home runs from Vaughn, Joey Ortiz, and Cooper Pratt hit his first career home run. And Brewers won that game 8-3. Game 2 against the Mets, sprouted. He went 4 2/3, gave up 2 earned, 4 hits, 4 walks, 4 Ks. And the offense definitely didn't support him, and we lost 4-0. And then Game 3, Logan Henderson went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned, but struck out 9. And Yelly had 2 separate RBI singles, and Joey Ortiz had a 2 RBI triple as well that helped get us that win. So, like I said, 5-1 since the break. We'll get right into hot hitters.
Stop dropping on fire, Ricky Bobby! I'm on fire! He's so hot right now.
Very proud, very happy to say Joey Ortiz is the hot hitter of the week. The 1.465 OPS, double, a triple, 2 homers, 5 runs, 6 RBI, 4 walks, and 3 stolen bases. Yeah, I think Brewers fans probably wouldn't have thought at any point throughout this season we'd be saying Joey O is the hot hitter of the week. So love to do that. Untouchable pitcher,
You fellas are untouchable. Is that the thing? No one can get to you?
Penn performed pretty well throughout the week, but I'm going to give it to Logan Henderson. 2 starts, so he had 10 innings pitched, 2.70 ERA, 0.8 WHIP, and a win. And like I said, he had 9 Ks in that second start, and in his first start, he had 4. So he was getting it done on the bump. Transactions wise, I'm sure we'll talk about this once Key and Scooper back around. But Woody got on the podium and addressed his situation, which doesn't really look good for the rest of his career period, but definitely doesn't look good for this season. So I'll save really diving into that discussion and his legacy, but for the sake of this podcast and this team, I think the main takeaway is obviously we're moving on in a Woodruff-less world, but hopefully he's still around in the clubhouse and stuff like that. So we still have him there, and I think he had a daughter about a week or so ago. So that's exciting for him, at least. He can be home for that. Paternity leave isn't all that common in the MLB, so he gets that. Lance McCullers, like I said, he debuted. Looked okay. We acquired him and some cash from the Astros for Jaden Fielder, and we also got Colton Gordon, lefty in the pen, who some people seem to think we really like that piece of the trade too, to make it worth taking on McCullers, but so far he's also performed fine in the league. He's not as injured as we thought, so we have that. We also acquired Braden Shoemake, and he actually played fine when he's been plugged into second base, so we got that going. I think that was just for cash. We signed Bryce Wilson. He ate some innings and looks to be Bryce Wilson. I saw a funny tweet about Joey Ortiz's performances in the time that Bryce Wilson's been on the Brewers roster, so I don't think there's really anything to that, but if there is, I'll take it. I saw DL Hall and David Hamilton are rehabbing. Sal is on IL, Rob Z's on IL, and Kyle Harrison is still on IL as well. The draft has also happened since we last talked.
If it hadn't been for those meddling kids. If it hadn't been for you meddling kids. Ah, meddling kids. If it hadn't been for these meddling laddies.
Our first pick was another Ebel brother, so that's pretty cool. We also drafted CeCe's son with our last pick, so we have another Sabathia as well to replace a lost fielder. It's kind of fun. Otherwise, a lot of picks have already signed. Sawyer Stroh-Snyder out at TCU was a second round pick, and that's one to watch. Outfielder signed above slot, a guy we really liked, and then another guy we signed above slot is a California prep arm, Julian Garcia. So those are probably the two guys that money talks that we like. So we'll dive in a little bit more, I think, too, and we have more time and the other guys here. But one other fun pick, Chase Mora was drafted as a pitcher, even though he only has 1.1 career innings pitched at the NCAA level. The fun fact about Chase Mora was that he actually holds the Texas State career home runs record at 42 career home runs, and that record beat out Paul Goldschmidt's prior record. So that's pretty cool. Getting the next Shohei below slot is quite the impressive feat for Matt Arnold. Just kidding, but it'd be cool if one day he'd make it to the league with that fun fact. Around the farm, I'm not going to dive in too much either, but since I did bring up the Ebel brothers, Brady Ebel has a 1.043 OPS in his last 21 games with 7 steals and impressive chase and whiff rate. So I figured as long as we were shouting out the Ebel brothers, I'd keep it rolling. Shut up, Brady Ebel. Keep seeing um, a lot of stuff about Biloxi's lineup these days and how stacked it is. So Javik gets to enjoy that down in Biloxi. But I think the main thing to, I guess, think about or hit on here is Brewers are half a game back in the race for best record in the league at 64-38, just behind the 65 win Dodgers. So it'd be nice to get the top seed, but at least top two would be great in the NL. And then we have a 7-game lead over the Cubs, which that offense has really picked up. We talked about that, and they probably won't slow down. And with the deadline coming, who knows what they buy? Pirates and Reds are still Cardinals. They're all around, so got to keep winning. But the cushion we built the first half should pay dividends. And then otherwise, it's definitely hot stove time. Deadline approaching. All over X, there is all kinds of rumors about who we're in on, who we're not in on, what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. I think just today, we're in on Scoble, we're in on Mason Miller. I don't know if that's true, but the beat writers and some of the insiders seem to think that we are going to be doing something. And we definitely have the capital, so it would make sense. I guess my thing is I don't know. I feel like our offense has gotten stuff done, but I don't really know if I believe in it. I don't know if I think it's much better than last year's offense, and we saw how that sputtered out in the playoffs. I mean, I trust Contreras. I trust Turang. I trust Churio to a point. I want to trust Yeli, but he needs to be healthy and needs to heat up a bit. Garrett Mitchell's been great, but he has to stay healthy, and we haven't. I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't really say we haven't seen him consistently perform because when he's played, he has solid stats. But the K rate and the health is an issue there, and obviously Joey Ortiz has picked it up recently. But between him and Pratt, I don't know if we trust that back part of the lineup. Andrew Vaughn was great last year. He's been good this year, and Bowers has been great. But do we really trust Jake Bowers in a playoff game? Maybe. He had definitely some clutch plate appearances last playoffs, but has been known to look pretty silly on a slider every once in a while too. So I don't know. I mean, Sal hasn't been Sal this year. He's banged up. There's just lots of question marks, I think, even in the lineup. And definitely doesn't have the power people always say wins playoff series. And then look at the rotation. Kyle Harrison's hurt. Woodruff's out. Some more question marks there. Miz allegedly is a little worn down. I don't know if that's real or not, but I mean, he's really going to be our ace and eating innings and into the playoffs. There's a question mark there as well. So I think we have that. And Penn's been solid, but the bullpen's never bulletproof. I think you can always add a piece there, and I think that unit is pretty solid. But I don't know. I feel like we have all three, whatever facets of the game are strong, but I don't know if any of them are great. Look at the Braves lineup. You probably take that lineup. You look at the Braves rotation, even with Sale, and some of the other guys, the way they fill out. I don't think we're at least exponentially better, if we're even better. Probably take our pen, but I don't know. And then obviously the Dodgers are the Dodgers. I don't want to talk about how they have a better unit in about every facet than us, possibly, but don't want to be too much of a downer here. Save some of that rhetoric for when Coach Keen and Scoop are back on. But just got to think there's probably a lot we could add. So hopefully it's a fun deadline. I do think there's some teams that are taking the hint and gonna sell. One of those doesn't appear to be the Red Sox. 14 straight wins pretty much since we last talked, which is crazy. So those are probably not sellers, which isn't great for the people that said they wanted Chapman, but there will be definitely pieces out there to acquire. But yeah, otherwise for league-wide discourse and more trade talk, I'll save that for when Coach Keane and Scoop get back. But
Let me buy a beer. Sure. These fans, I love them. When I came in, they didn't recognize me at first, but then when I told them who I was, next thing you know, they're buying me my favorite beer. Thanks. Hey, it's a pleasure to buy a beer for a great pitcher like Whitey Ford. So I lied.
I'll close it out with my beer of the week. New Glarus's Kid Kolsch. Big fan of Kolsch's. I think it's a very drinkable beer. Also biased. I briefly was living, staying, whatever you want to call it, near the city of Cologne in Germany, in Bonn, and very much enjoyed my time there. And I think Kolsch is about as easy drinking of a beer as you can get. So whether it's New Glarus's rendition, a traditional German rendition, Dovetail has a nice Kolsch, some local breweries, Gathering Place, a couple other ones I think have Kolsch's. Enjoy a Kolsch. Maybe I'll see some of you at German Fest this weekend and we'll roll out the barrel. Go Brewers.